Welcome to the Every Day is a New Day podcast and live show. Are you ready? Because this is Rise and Shine. Every day is a new day. The 21-day empowerment series that supports you in cultivating a habit of getting into alignment, mentally and emotionally, standing in your power and being unshakable regardless what's happening around you. Join us live on Facebook at 9 a.m. Pacific time on the Every Day is a New Day show and coaching page, or on Apple Podcasts and beyond for the replay. Let's get to it. And welcome, I'm just going to jump right into it. Welcome to today's special guest, Sarah Ross.
Hello, Kim.
Hi.
That's definitely been the most unusual introduction, I think.
So clearly I didn't have everything perfectly queued up, and it's all good. We're going with it.
We'll go with it. Whatever happens, happens, right?
Exactly. Whatever happens, happens. And so for those joining us today, I have with me here the founder of Your Reason to Breathe and a burnout recovery and stress management expert, Sarah Ross, with us today. And I'm so glad that you're joining us today, Sarah.
Me too. It's a nice end to my Sunday across the pond in England.
And that's what I love about technology. It's morning time over here on the Pacific coast of Southern California, the US, and it's your day is just ending over there in England.
Yeah, it was when I read your notes for what was going to happen on the call, and it said as you stroll out of bed, or just as you are, and I was like, I think by 5 o'clock in the afternoon I probably should be out of my pajamas, right?
Hey, I mean,
but it's lockdown, so maybe not.
Exactly. So let us know in the comments where you are joining us from. And is today your first day? Is it your 14th day, your second, your third, your whatever day? Let us know in the comments, how has been practicing being in your own alignment every single day really supported you in feeling more centered, more grounded, that state of inner peace within you, regardless of what's going on around you. It totally makes a difference in how you can navigate your day and be as solid as possible, regardless of what's happening around you. So let us know in the comments, what has this been like for you, or what comes up for you now as we're in today's conversation. And Sarah, I invite you now to join me, and of course you out there who are with us today as well, to let's now practice getting into alignment for our day before we get into our conversation. So, okay, awesome. So wherever you are seated, go ahead and, shift however feels good to you to be comfortable where you are seated. Go ahead and take one slow, deep breath in. Exhaling out any tension. And I like to place one hand on my heart. And you can place the other hand on your abdomen or on your upper thigh. And I want you to just go inward and ask yourself right now, who am I? At the core of who you are, what comes up for you? Who are you? You are this beautiful being. I'll give you a little help here too. So you might get answers like, I am love. I am freedom. I am peace. You might even simply get, I am me. I am creative. What words come up for you? The truth of who you are. And now imagine that about a foot above your head, an even greater essence of that energy of who you are is now going to flow down to you and through you into your physical body. And you may see this energy of who you truly are like a waterfall of abundance, a waterfall of love just flowing down over you, into you, down through the top of your head, into your neck, over both shoulders, down both arms, all the way out to the palms of both hands, and extending out through all of your fingertips. And notice how you feel as you do this. Just notice how it feels to be filled up with the essence of you. And that energy continues down through your chest, over your heart, into your abdomen, over your hips, down both thighs and legs, all the way down to the soles of your feet, and out through every single toe. And in this moment, you are reconnected to who you are, being present with how it feels to be you. Remembering. I'm going to take one more deep breath in, knowing how amazing it is to be you from the inside out. And as you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. And let me know in the comments, what is that like for you? We've been switching it up every day as we do this. And I want to make one little comment about a word that I used in this, is that I said reconnecting. I want to emphasize you are always connected to who you truly are. And yet we can have these experiences of feeling disconnected. So I want to make that distinction. You are always connected to who you truly are, your greatest truth, and all of that. And we align every day because as we ebb and flow with life and things that can feel like they take us off course, it can be really helpful to say, wait a second, let me connect to what's true for me and align my energy again, because that is a gift you give you every time you do that. So anyway, I just wanted to make that distinction there. And Sarah, I'm so glad you're here with us today. And I would love for you to share with us, what does it feel like for you when you take time to align your energy and feel centered and whole from the inside out?
For me, I think, and it's still a relatively new practice for me, actually consciously doing it. I think I would take deep breaths, or I would, take some, count to 10, in stressful situations. But this actual consciously taking time to ground and center, but also to listen to what the answer is in that moment, rather than just, I'm reducing my stress, I'm calming down, and then I'm off again, to actually take the time and say, who is now? Who am I now? What do I need to be listening to? And what messages are coming in for me? And using that moment as the opportunity to actually hear, to actually listen and to hear whatever message our body, universe, source has for us, that we can then use going forward, rather than just going, okay, I'm calm, let's go, next.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I love that. And sometimes what I also love about that is the awareness of sometimes you may not get an answer immediately, and that's okay. It's that practice of saying, I'm just going to be present and calm with myself and listen and see what shows up. And if nothing shows up, can I also just be in that silence? And okay, so Sarah, now go ahead.
A lot of people don't like silence.
True.
A lot of people don't like silence. I was an investigator, an auditor, a compliance officer in my corporate job. And, people, if you were having an interview or whatever and you left that long pause, people want to fill it.
Right.
So you're taking the time to be still and listen, and you don't necessarily get an answer. Do you give yourself enough time to hear, or do you immediately go, right, no answers, off we go, and do, and then start something else? Whereas actually maybe you are, there's that analogy of the gold miner who, was like 3 inches away from the haul of a lifetime and walked away, and then somebody else took over his mine, went that extra 3 inches, and suddenly has all the riches. And that for me is the same thing. It's like, what if that message is just another couple of seconds away? But to what you also said, what if there is no message and I am? And there is nothing after the word I am.
Yes, and I love it. And one thing I also love is like each of these conversations that we've been doing here with Rise and Shine have been unique in their own right. And thank you so much for even bringing up the aspect of silence and what do we do with that, and is that okay? How do we respond to it? I absolutely love that, Sarah. And so, Sarah, so I like to take it that next step further. You know, we connected with the energy and brought it into our awareness. And then I like to really help people form, you know, or recognize the importance of an affirmation anyway. So, based on what you shared with us and your experience, what would be an affirmation that you might use today to further integrate this sense of alignment to carry you throughout your day? And for those watching us, what would your affirmation be? Let us know in the comments.
So my all-time go-to affirmation is I am more than enough.
Nice.
And then sometimes it's I am more than enough, period, full stop. And other times it is I am more than enough for the challenges ahead of me today. Or I am more than enough for my audience or my clients in the work that we will do today. And so it allows you to use whatever you are feeling, whatever messages you're getting, to just expand it to whatever it needs to be.
Okay, so I hope I got that right. I put that in the comments. It'll show up in just a second on our end. That was excellent. So, okay, so we have here, I am more than enough, or you said, I am more than enough for my challenges today?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So for those that are with us, so that those, if you're not coming up with an affirmation on your own, is it possible that one of these might resonate with you and support you throughout your day? And I also just want to highlight, because I love that you mentioned, you know, what if there's nothing after I am? That could also be an affirmation. I am, period, right there.
Yeah.
So, so we are connecting those pieces. We have the awareness, we've got the words to support us throughout our day. And now here's where we get a little playful and silly with it. So how might this look as a power pose in your physical body? How might I am more than enough look like as a power pose?
Oh, mine is always the Wonder Woman pose, hands on hips, feet slightly, you know, I'm even like sat like it now, you know. It's, you know, I grew up with, you know, the original Wonder Woman. I could spin myself dizzy, never changed my clothes, unfortunately, you know, no matter how much I thought that it would happen. But to me, that power pose opens you up as well. You know, so yes, I'm standing in my power, I'm being strong, but I'm also opening up my lungs, relaxing my shoulders, standing with my body as grounded as possible, or even sat down, you know, my feet are still grounded, and just allowing the energy to have as free a flow through my body as it possibly can.
So one thing I love about what you just said is how it opens you up. And I know that, you know, the newest Wonder Woman movie that came out, a couple years ago or so now, that was the thing that really struck me the most. I mean, I watched Wonder Woman as a kid too. I absolutely loved it. But now that I'm adult, I'm able to see it through different eyes. And I loved that it was so obvious how much she led with her heart. And
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
so
it's open up this bit here, because you're opening up your heart, allowing the heart energy to stretch even further, but you're also opening up your lungs. And especially the time that we are in now, being able to take a deep breath and then take a slightly deeper breath requires your lungs to have as much space as possible to actually inflate. And so this pose encourages you to do that, because you're saying, right, shoulders back, you know, lift up your boobs, chest, and take an even deeper breath.
I love that. Okay, so we have Karen with us, and she is saying, I'm still working on I need to. So I am is a difficult statement for me right now for me. Karen, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Okay, let me read that one more time. I'm still working on I need to. So I am is a difficult statement right now. So Karen, one thing I would say is, I don't know what you might put after that statement. Let's say it's I am love, but you maybe don't feel ready to say I am love. I'm going to ask permission to just offer another suggestion. Hopefully you say yes. And that would be to switch up the words, and you could say, I choose to be open to knowing myself as love, or I choose to, what is it that you're moving towards? If you know that you want to move in that direction, but you don't feel like you're there yet, by saying I choose, that's really infusing your ability to your power. That's infusing your power into the statement. And
so Karen has said she needs to be healthier, or I need to be kinder. And I think this is exactly the power of an I am statement, that the I need to be is, you projecting into the future what you would like to have. And the actual power that comes from an I am statement is to claim it right now. So even though, I don't feel healthy every single day, especially not since the lockdown and the rubbish that I'm putting into my body and the energy difference, but I would still say I am healthy and happy. I am healthy and happy. It changes the hormones in your brain, there's happy hormones that we produce naturally. So for Karen, what I would say is, find that pose that feels good to you. It may be the Wonder Woman pose. It may also be the Superman. It could also just be in a place in your house that feels most powerful to you. And actually remove the words I need to be and claim that you already are. So I am healthier. I am kind.
Karen, and I so applaud you right now for sharing that with us, because that's an easy go-to phrase for a lot of people. I need to. That is so common. And so this was a beautiful opportunity that you gave us to be able to showcase another way to shift that. And let us know your thoughts on that. Do you feel a shift when you just switch up the beginning of those words and affirm it in the present? Let us know. And thank you for commenting and adding to that, Sarah. And Karen saying, okay, great. Thank you. Awesome. Karen, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. And so when we, as we're doing this, right, we're doing the awareness piece, we're bringing it into our speech, we brought it into our body, because it's not something that just lives up here. Alignment isn't something that just lives up here. It's something you feel in your being. And so by allowing yourself to be, playful and silly, okay, what does this feel like? What would it look like? It's not necessarily what you're going to go around doing, going to the grocery store, well, I'm in my power pose.
Oh, I need some bread.
But it's something you can do at home before you go to the store.
Exactly.
Before you go to your kitchen. And, to really just integrate that and feel that more into your body. So, okay, so we got the power pose. Now let's talk about self-care and food. So actually, before we get to the self-care, because I know you have tons to say on that, Sarah, which all of this stuff is self-care, elements of self-care. But Sarah, what's like one food that when you eat it, you're like, oh, my body just like, ooh, just that feels good. I'm nourishing my body when I eat this one food. What comes?
Oh, okay. So that depends if we're really stuck on the word nourishing my body, because I love mac and cheese with mini hot dogs. My comfort food, that's my go-to food. There's probably people going to challenge whether it's so nourishing, but
it's so funny because this has come up in different ways. So okay, thank you for acknowledging the comfort food. Is there a non-comfort food that you notice your body is just like drinking up?
Mango smoothie.
Ooh, nice. Okay. What do you put in your mango smoothie?
So it's usually frozen mango, orange juice, fresh mango if I have it, some chia seeds, and some nut butter and coconut oil.
Oh, that sounds really good right now. Okay.
And then it depends, and depending on how much of each, it becomes more like a sorbet ice cream or like a juice. So it's
Okay. Okay. So now let's talk about self-care. And first, I just, for you specifically, like, what are some things that you do for your own self-care to help you feel centered and grounded and feel your best every day?
Okay, so my history is I did burnout. I went through a burnout. I got to the point of choosing the day on which I would take my own life, and really I wasn't looking after myself at all. And as I've gone through the process of healing from that and finding out who I am and what that means and how I want to show up, actually it comes down to some very simple things. I take my clients through a 15-step quiz. Are they burning out? But actually, when we come to reset for them, it usually comes down to the same three things that I'm doing for myself. And that is sleep, drinking enough water, and then actually engaging with people. And those three can then reset a multitude of other things. But once you are well rested, your body is hydrated, it's in a more optimum way of working, that you don't then, you aren't always stressed or everything. But it's those, for me, it's those three. And if I'm not feeling good, I can guarantee that one of those three is out.
That's awesome that you were able to identify those for us. And there was something you said a moment ago I want to touch on. You mentioned having this awareness. Okay, I'm blanking on the exact words you said. You said something about, though, having the awareness of knowing that you weren't taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
What was, do you happen to remember, and if you don't, that's okay, but do you happen to remember what that was like when you realized, oh, I'm not taking care of myself? Was there like a moment like that for you?
I think it certainly wasn't as I burnt out or when I was stressed or when I was depressed. I was literally just trying to get through the day. What I learned as I went through the healing journey afterwards was I had stopped dreaming. I had stopped thinking positively about the future in any form. It didn't matter what was going on in my life. I didn't see a positive outcome for anything, whether it was job, relationship, family, anything. And therefore, it was safer to just stay where I was and doing what I was doing, even though I was in pain and I wasn't in a good place. It's kind of that better the devil you know. I could live with that situation and it got to the point where I couldn't anymore, but I didn't see another option. So actually, I'll stay in this. I'm hurting, but I can control how much I'm hurting by not letting other people in, by hiding away. And actually, as I came out of that and started to become more me and who that was and how I was going to use my journey to help other people, the things that really stood out for me were, at what point did I stop dreaming? At what point did I stop thinking about things in the future? The I am statement, writing a wish list of things that you want to happen in your life. I didn't have any of that at the point where things had started to deteriorate.
And what I'm hearing as you say that is, to me, that would look like a person who definitely is not in a open, right? That would look more like just kind of closed in and closed off. And the thing I want to say too is I know that can become a pattern for people and they don't even realize it. And so that's what's helpful to remember. By the more you're deliberately taking care of yourself on a consistent basis, it helps you to remember to be present with yourself so that you can be going, yeah, well, I'm feeling good. And what am I creating now and moving forward? And so you can continue to dream. And let us know in the comments, did what Sarah just say resonate for you? What is this bringing up for you? I love that you brought up the dream aspect of that, Sarah. So tell us more about the work that you do with people today to help them, recover from burnout and all of that.
So this, I work through, it's called the Breathe model, where we actually look at 7 different things that I would encourage anyone to actually reset or look at in their lives before just going for pharmaceuticals. There are people who go through burnout and it is also driven by depression. And for some people, a pharmaceutical route is exactly what they need, in which way, we always encourage people to speak to their GP or to their, house doctor, whatever. But make sure that you've done as much as you can yourself before you get to that stage. So like I was talking about, I was sleeping maybe 1.5 hours a night.
Wow.
Sleep deprivation, is a known torture method. You deprive prisoners of sleep long enough, they'll do anything. And I was managing on, an hour and a half a night. I wasn't resting properly. I wasn't present in the moment. I was stuck in the past for most of the time. I didn't see a future. I didn't move anymore. I was having migraines 25 days a month. So, when we were talking about that power pose, I barely got upright and out of my bed. I was in that fetal position or, curled up to just try and get the pain to stop. There was no power in however I was, whether I was lying down or curled up. Everything was like closed off and stopping the energy from flowing. I, just wanted to have a few minutes without pain. But I didn't trust my body. My body was going, here's a migraine. And instead of going, I wonder why I'm getting so many migraines, and I wonder what the causes are of this, it was really like, oh, well, painkillers and doctors. Right. I'm in my room 25 days a month in the dark. And that's the worst place to be, and sometimes you need it. But when you're in that state, when your brain then goes, right, well, now that you've stopped, because my problem was I was working 60, 70-hour weeks. And now my body went, now that you've actually slowed down and stopped, let's talk about, all the fears, all the limiting beliefs, all the past mistakes or lessons, however you want to call them. And suddenly, every single day was just worse and worse as I, destroyed my own I am statements and replaced them with the limiting ones that healing journey then had me rebuild again.
I know that when a person's at that point realizing, oh my goodness, the past, you may use different phrases for this. The past is catching up with me, or, I'm so overwhelmed and I can't see anything beyond this moment. It can be easy to, I just lost my train of thought. Sarah.
That's right.
I had a beautiful thought I was going to share there. Okay, I'm going to move into sharing some cards, and then that thought's going to come back. And
It'll come back.
There's a whole thought that was there. Okay, so I pre-pulled some cards. Cards to expand on today's message. And here's what came out. And so let's see here. The first card that came out is this one. Loving others starts with loving myself.
Yeah.
And the back of it says, if you don't love yourself, nobody else will. Okay, sometimes these cards are a little harsh, okay, but the wording is maybe not my ideal wording, but if you don't love yourself, nobody else will. Not only that, you won't be good at loving anyone else. Loving starts with the self. And so the way I like to think about this is to the depths of how you love yourself, that's the same depth anybody else is going to be love you. So if you're not loving yourself very much, then that's what that's saying is, other people are not going to be able to love you that much either.
Yeah. And any energy that the energy that you put into your loving yourself is what will be available to love others too.
Yes.
Not, if you're not filling your cup with self-love, there is no cup from someone else to drink from.
Exactly. Very well said. Yes. The second card that came out is, I release the need to determine how things should be.
Okay.
And the back of it says, if you are suffering in your life right now, I can guarantee that this condition is tied up with some kind of attachment to how things should be going. Did you want to say something on that, Sarah? as you drink your...
No. It always, I think for anyone, and maybe people who haven't experienced card pulling or, sometimes just sit with the messages because they are always right.
I have two more that are also...
But yeah. But I can imagine they're going to be just as right as the other two are. But it's, I pull a card every day for myself. I have numerous decks up here and boxes elsewhere. I think sometimes it's just, what is the message? And, we started with, what is the message I'm giving, getting from my own energy well, what is the message that I'm also being given in a more substantive way? You know, maybe you're not getting an internal message, but maybe you are getting the message that you really need to hear.
Exactly.
Cards.
Yes. Okay. And so what I wanted to say a moment ago came back to me, and it's simply the phrase as you're in that process of realizing the past and things are not what you wish they would be, and you're maybe feeling overwhelmed by those feelings, not to scare anybody, but sometimes it's darkest before the dawn. It's really important to allow yourself to be present with that and go, okay, yeah, I'm feeling this, so that you can release it and move beyond it. What I have found is that all those times of resisting our feelings and choosing to ignore and say, oh, no, I'm not feeling this. Oh, that didn't impact me. This didn't really bother me. At some point, you may have that experience where it all kind of catches up with you. And now you're sort of forced to look at it. And that's actually a beautiful moment. It may not feel pleasant, but it's a wonderful opportunity, because that's now your opportunity to feel it and release it. So you actually can now open up, feel more open and free, and move forward. That's the essence of what I was trying to get at. And Karen is saying, that's my card. So Karen, awesome. Awesome. Okay. So 2 other cards that I pre-pulled.
Let's go.
We got Divine Wisdom Guides Me. So this one speaks to that whole message of, what is the message? Am I hearing the message? And to me, it's just even knowing that even if you feel like you're not receiving an answer, like you are still divinely guided, divinely led in whatever way that resonates for you. Okay, here's the next one. I experience love wherever I go. So that can be an affirmation. If you are looking to bring in more love into your life, this could also be an affirmation that you may use. So the first 2 maybe spoke a little bit more to our conversation, but I felt like these just sort of touched on little elements that also resonated. What are your thoughts, Sarah?
Definitely. And sometimes, I have a variety of different decks, and sometimes I need the message to be in a very particular way. I also have apps on my phone that send them to me during the day. And sometimes you read it and you're like, oh, that's a nice little statement, but it doesn't touch you. And there's the times when you read it and you go, oh, you're literally like, yep, okay, now I get it. And it's probably the same message as you've been getting bits and pieces of at various times or in different forms. And sometimes there is a way that you need to hear it or read it or see it. And so, it's not that you are ignoring the messages. They may just not being transmitted to you at the right wavelength, in the right energy form for you to actually receive them.
And what I love is, go ahead.
To have various ways. If you always get the messages internally, then great. But if you're not sure whether you do, then be open to the fact that the messages may come in many different ways.
And start to notice patterns. They come to you in ways that can be so easily dismissible. I know I often get signs or messages through songs on the radio, or through a part of a sentence that someone may use on the TV, or if I'm having a conversation with someone and they use a key word that stood out to me when I read something the other day. It's like I start to notice, oh, wait, there's that word again. Okay, what's the message for me? And it's all those things that can be so easily dismissible. And yet those are the ways that we, receive that divine wisdom coming through to us, to help guide us. You always have support. You're never alone. So, okay. So Sarah, I want to ask you now, and this question is totally optional. I think you know what I'm going to ask you is, if you're open to it, would you be willing to sing us a song with the words "rise and shine" in it?
Oh my goodness. No.
No. Okay.
I did, because I saw this, and that just so that everyone knows that you didn't just I've known that question was coming. And no, it's that something like that would take me. Yeah, that's the message I'm getting is no.
Okay, the message she's getting is no. Okay, so let me think here.
Next.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you one more time in a different way. Would you like to give us an impromptu poem with the words "rise and shine"?
You see, you're still tapping into this. I have to create something on the spot.
Okay. We can say no. We can say no. It's totally fine.
I think we'll go with the no. That's just not feeling right.
Okay, that's totally fine. It's all good. And on that note, then I'm gonna pull one more card. I'm gonna pull. And Sarah, thank you for being honest with me, because I know not everyone's comfortable with that, and this is something that I'm just having fun with and playing with. So I totally respect that. Okay, we're gonna pull one more card, and before we wrap up, let us know in the comments, what is your affirmation for today? What might your power pose look like, or what is your takeaway from today's conversation? And I'm gonna pull one more message for everybody today. There we go, gotta knock on it. See what wants to come through. Oh, there, okay, what is this one? It says, I rejoice in my unlimitedness. And the back says, I am aware that I am pure consciousness. I am one with all life. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty all-encompassing.
Very all-encompassing. I agree. All right. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for being here today. And
you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And so we have Sarah's a link to Sarah's Facebook page in the comments here. But will you go ahead and tell everyone where they can connect with you after the show?
Yeah. So we have a Facebook page called Your Reason to Breathe. I found mine in an orphanage in Vietnam, where a dying orphan actually saved my life. And the purpose of the group is to give people, messages like we've had today, but also to encourage them to find their own. What is it that makes you light up? What is it that you're getting the messages to do, and then build a life around it? So we're on Facebook page, Your Reason to Breathe.
Awesome. And so thank you for being here with us today, whether you're live or on the replay. Let us know what you're taking away. Remember that every day is always a new day. Wherever you are today does not have to be where you are tomorrow. Wherever you were yesterday does not have to be where you are today. And that's a metaphor for at any moment, there's always the choice to choose something different, to say, you know what, wait, this doesn't feel good. Okay, now let me get back into alignment. What can I shift so that I can get back to feeling centered and whole and present with myself? It's that gift you give to yourself first that then supports you in being able to give to others and the world. And so we have another amazing guest tomorrow for day 15 of Rise and Shine right here on Facebook on the Every Day is a New Day show and coaching page. I look forward to you joining us, and I hope you have an amazing day, knowing that you are always loved, supported, you're never alone, and that even if you don't feel like you're getting those messages, it's okay to just be. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.